I don't know what the cause of death was. I don't know if anyone knows. I know there are some factors at play that had nothing to do with what the Twitterverse has decided to make it about. So the Twitterverse created a hashtag comics broke me. Look, Eric, I'm the nervous one. You're muting yourself.
I was coughing, jackass.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Inkpulp podcast. I am your humble what is it when there's three people? There's co-host,
threesome,
and then when there's
we're a throuple.
I mean, from a 60 years old guy, I would expect this kind of stuff.
Record timing.
Whoa!
I think it was the throuple.
I mean, with the bang.
All right, so,
I'm back with the bang.
Listen, it's what do you call it? It's episode 149. Thank you for being here. I am your threesome co-host. I am your triple. I am your third penetration
of the threesome.
Jesus Christ, man. All right, so we're back, and clearly Matteo's back after taking some hiatus. Welcome back, Matteo Scalera, kissed by the sun himself. He looks like he's got a little bit of color to him.
Yeah,
and not in a racist way. Yeah,
Scalera.
Yeah. I was on a vacation, a 12 days vacation.
Where'd you go?
With the family. We went to the south of Italy. The region, it's called Apulia, which is, if you think about Italy as a booth, it's basically the heel.
Oh, the heel
of the booth.
Okay, so is that on the Adriatic?
No, it's Adriatic on the east coast, and Ionio, which is another sea, on the west coast. So you can actually, since it's a really thin region, depending on the wind, you can decide if you want to go east or west on the beaches, basically.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because if the wind brings stuff, can bring stuff like algae and stuff to the beach, so you go to the opposite side.
Fancy.
So yeah, that's where my father comes from.
Oh,
it still has all the family over there.
Oh, so were your parents with you?
Actually, in the final part of the vacation, yeah, because at first we found a house on the coast, and we stayed there for like 8 days, just enjoying the sea. Although the weather wasn't ideal, it would be nice in the morning, and then after lunch it would tend to be rainy. It's a pretty weird June in Italy. Usually by now the weather should be really good, but it's been really bad lately, and there's been a lot of rain all over Italy, especially in my region. The opposite coast, they're into shit. Like, people died, like entire cities flooded. Yeah.
Is Venice just underwater right now?
No, because Venice is up north, so they're not experiencing the same kind of problem. But the coast in my region, the East Coast, is in bad condition. Like, people are actually traveling all over from other regions over there to help, because it's a shit show.
Damn.
And it's not stopping raining. It keeps raining, and it's fucking bad. Lots of people lost their houses and shit, so it's pretty bad. By the way,
listen, speaking of pretty bad, can we talk about those t-shirts really quick? Can we talk about your tank tops really quick? Can we give a little bit of
another addition to our Fratelli's apparel?
Give some background. Where did you guys get those?
Shawn?
So, I was when we were in Italy, I needed a bathing suit because I forgot to bring mine, and I wanted to get into the pool at your hotel. And we were in the city of Como, and I was trying to find a bathing suit, and I found a Foot Locker. They had bathing suits. But while I was in there, I saw these beauties hanging up and thought, that is perfect. Matteo and I would rock that shit. So I purchased.
Which is what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You guys look great. You guys look amazing.
Yeah. Tell me something I don't know, please.
I'm just reiterating for you how great that was. Those were all good decisions, you guys. All right, continue. What were you saying?
Yeah. To you, I'll try to make it as quick as possible. But yeah, we spent 8 days on the coast, and then we moved to the inland where my father was born. And the last time, it's still all the rest of the family's there. So he had like 5 siblings, and they're still there. They had kids, all my cousins and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And we used to be really, really close. Like, especially when I was a kid, from when I was 2 or 3 years old to when I was 17, I used to stay there for sometimes 3 months, like the whole summer. So,
with your parents?
Without my parents. My parents will just join me at the end of the vacation or at the beginning, and then leave me there, And because they
driving away, like,
didn't want to deal with me. So yeah, I got to see my family, my father's family again.
That's nice.
And it was nice. It was nice because I don't know how many chances I will have again, because the oldest, like my father's the youngest of 6. So the oldest uncle is now almost 90. And you see the change, because last time I was there, it was 15 years ago. And it was nice to see them again. And the only sad thing is that I was expecting, because we were really close. So when my father would go, and visit, since he's the only sibling that left, there would be like parties every time, like huge dinners with all the people, with all the relatives. Yeah. Sometimes we're like 40, 50 people, at somebody's house, all the aunties like making pasta for 2 days in a row just to make it for everyone. It was just fucking amazing.
Dude,
that was my...
Wait, real quick. Could you just imagine me sitting at that table trying that food, Matteo?
Oh my God. It would be just, if I imagine it as it was a comic book, I would just click on the M button, and that's it. For all your dialogues. And sometimes it's fucking amazing. This is the best pasta dish I ever had. So yeah, I was expecting that, because my memory was that, but now they're all old. One is on a wheelchair. One is not. It doesn't. His hearing is gone, and
did you say his urine was gone?
Yeah. It's basically it's deaf, basically.
Oh, hearing. I thought you said his urine was gone.
Urine? Yeah, I drank it all. It's gone in my mouth.
Bingo.
So yeah. So I was expecting that, but it wasn't the case. So we basically, with my parents, we went and visit one by one in the afternoon, one the morning after, and stuff like that. So, but it was still, it was nice to see all the family again, because we were really close. So and this time I got to tan a little bit, because I had to constantly follow my kid. Usually I'm in the shade under a big umbrella.
You don't like to be in the sun?
Sorry?
You don't like to be in the sun?
I used to, until a certain point, because I used to get really, really tan. So I liked that. But then I stopped enjoying myself. It was just torture for me. So I stopped and I start what?
Because you got sunburn?
Hey,
no,
wait,
it's just
stop talking.
It's really hot during
there's
the
a
summer.
What do you call it? There's background reverb. I can hear somebody else's. I can hear Shawn twice.
Yeah, I can hear you twice. Now I can't. It's when Matteo talks.
Mm-hmm.
It opens.
You still hear it
now?
Yeah. Anyway. Well, I'm sure we'll fix it.
Okay, right. Go ahead. So you were saying?
Well, I won't be talking for the rest of the show, so It's fine.
Eric, it worked.
So no, because it's fucking hot during the summer. Like it's like 120 degrees. So you can't. Like it's horrible. I used to do it because I would play
Right.
with sand and stuff
Right.
like that. So after a while, I decided, okay, I'm gonna stay under the umbrella for the rest of the thing, just sleep or stuff like that. And now, I have a almost 2 years old kid.
Yeah.
And it's, he never stops. So you got to follow him. And so automatically I got some tan, just some. Not what I used to, but
you didn't get sun fucked. You got sun kissed.
Yeah, sun kissed. Yeah, with the tongue. Gently.
Lovingly.
You still hear the reverb?
No, I don't hear it anymore. Do you, Eric?
No.
Right.
Eric's
I see that you're really excited to see me, Eric.
Below the waist, I am. Yep.
I can see the smile. Like it's all white. It's reflecting. Like all the white of the teeth is reflecting. So on my screen. That's why I'm keeping my sunglasses on.
This is really good, you guys.
How about you guys?
I'm so excited that you're back.
Oh, by the way, I this morning I watched the episode with John Amore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't familiar with his work and with him.
He's gonna come back in July, and you'll be on that episode because he's got something happening in July. We're gonna bring him back on.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That wasn't my idea, by the way. I don't like him very much, but Shawn was like, "Hey, bring him on," and I was like, "All right."
Yeah, you don't like to have other Filipinos,
Yeah, that's like one too many. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Immediately when there's two Filipinos in a room, whether it be in real life or virtual, I start to smell like that rice in the background. Like somebody's. I'm like, man, that's so weird. It takes me back to my traumatic childhood.
Do you sweat rice out of your pores? Just like,
dude, I start smelling like, Filipino dishes. I'm like, there's a lot of grease smell in the air,
that's good.
So I was like, get out of here, John.
Filipino in the room.
Hey, listen.
You have like a spider sense, but it's a Filipino sense.
Yeah. It's like one too many, everything starts to get covered in saran wrap, all the Filipino stereotypes. Maddie, welcome back, dude. It was good to make fun of you while you were gone, but even better to make fun of you while you were here. You guys look amazing, by the way. You know what? You guys have the same body type, right?
No, not at all.
No?
No. Like Shawn's shoulder are like wide, broad. I don't know how to say it. And then he has basically no ass or legs. And I'm
I
the
got
opposite.
a cute little butt there. I got no legs.
You got no legs, brother.
Yeah.
I'm all legs. Like I'm shaped like a female, basically. Vase?
Mm-hmm.
That's my shape. When I gain weight, I never gain weight in my face or here. Always, downstairs. We're the opposite. Like,
I want to know.
You know what? You know that Shawn, he practices yoga. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when Shawn does how do you say it? When you stand with your
hands, no effort.
when you stand with your hands and you have your feet up.
Yeah.
That's when we have the same shape.
What are we doing here? All right. What were we talking about offline before I hit the go button? You guys wanted to talk about it briefly. Go ahead.
Matteo, do the intro.
Well, actually, I just, found out about this. So, I'll leave it to you if you want. Is that cool?
Yeah, totally cool. So we have
Are you guys nervous? You guys look nervous.
No.
You nervous?
Not at all.
Shawn looks nervous.
I'm not smiling.
That's a nervous smile that Shawn's got on. Go ahead, Shawn. Cancel this show immediately.
There was an untimely passing of a young-ish cartoonist comic book artist, someone who I knew because they went to SCAD when I was teaching there, and some of my students were very friendly with this person. I don't know what the cause of death was. I don't know if anyone knows. I know there are some factors at play that may have contributed that had nothing to do with what the Twitterverse has decided to make it about. But it started. Look, Eric, I'm the nervous one, and you're muting yourself.
I was coughing, jackass.
It was a nervous cough. I saw that.
So the Twitterverse created a hashtag comics broke me. And I saw that hashtag and I was like, what is this? So I looked into it and it was really, there's something going on with a younger generation. And it's not exclusive to comics, because I was talking to my neighbor the other day, where it's like, if anything is difficult, if anything isn't come to them exactly as they want it to, they have a real problem or trouble dealing with it. And I blame this on the phones. I think the phones has taught this people that, like, you can have everything you want, the way you want it, the second you want it. So it's trained the mind to be that way. But I was talking to my neighbor. She works in she manages a dental office, and she can't keep, like, they're constantly rotating employees because they hire these young people. They come in and then they quit because they don't want to work. It's too difficult. It's too hard. So anyways, I saw this going on, and it just got me thinking. Like, I think there's an assumption that we all had it so easy, and everything just went our way, because it just seems like if you look at, like, what we do on this show, and if you look at people we're friendly with, what we often talk about is trying to help with business advice and art advice. What we are very much, look, it's not an easy industry. I'm not going to say it is, but when you decide to go into it, it's just like trying to be an actor, trying to be a musician. You're going into the entertainment industry. It's a very different industry. It's not a 9-to-5 job. You're not a salaried employee. So it's going to be difficult by nature. It's going to be unfair by design. I mean, not by design, but by nature. Just, it is what it is. We all knew that. And it was extremely difficult for each of us to get in and stay in. So I'm just kind of baffled by these tweets I'm seeing. And it also, like, it seems like this thing was started in honor of the death of this young cartoonist, but everyone's just making it about themselves. Like, here's my story, how comics wronged me. But honestly, the stories I've read are nothing we're not familiar with. So it's a little strange.
Go ahead, Manny. What do you think?
No, I mean, I agree. Like, what I was gonna say, you basically said it briefly as you were speaking, and it's like I always try in my head. My thing is always like, they're not stupid, they're not evil or anything. So I try to, put myself in their shoes. Is that right?
Yeah. You try to empathize.
Yeah. And it's and you're right. Like, if I was born in the same, times, in recent times, now we're with technology, we have this basically we have this feeling that the world is adapting to us at any time, especially with even for us, with this episode is going on YouTube, like on YouTube, whatever the algorithm understand that you will like, they're not going to even show it to you unless you actively search for it.
Right.
So they have this constant thing that constantly adapts to what their tastes are and stuff like that. So they're used to this kind of bubble that moves around them and makes them see whatever they like,
Yeah.
So they're not used to, and instead, I think that life, like, one of the most important thing of life and growing as a, as a person, as a human being, is one of the most important thing is learning how to deal with the fact that most of the things are not the way you like them, and learn to cope with that and to, accept that.
Right,
And
exactly.
it's what is the in AI? What's the main mantra they have? Like, God, let me help. Accept the things that I can't change.
Oh, that's the what's that called, Eric? Do you remember what that prayer is called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Serenity
about. I
prayer.
don't know what it's called.
Serenity prayer, right?
But it's like, but it's, it's true. It's one of the most
Right.
important thing in life,
Agreed.
learning how to, deal with the fact that most of the things are not the way you like them to be. And so I'm kind of worried for the newest generations, because they're the world around them is not giving them the tools to do this, which is
Right.
a really important thing if you want to grow up as a person.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I'm trying to use this opportunity to. I mean, look, Zoe's been working full time now for a few months, and it has changed her dramatically for the better. She's grown up, she's matured, and it's been a real amazing transformation. But yeah, I was worried about that before that job started.
Yeah. And again, I mean, most of them, they're probably, I don't know. I'm just supposing here because I hear of this thing for the first time. So I don't know. But I suppose that maybe most of them are young. I think of myself when I was young, and I understand where they're coming from, and the anger, the
Sure. I mean, we all felt it. We all struggled. We all felt it. We got angry at times. We probably got bitter at times. I know I did, but
yeah.
And I can't. I mean, I knew it was hard. It never deterred me from. Like, I kept going.
Yeah.
And
No, absolutely. I don't know. It's a complicated issue, I think.
Like, for example, so the attitude now is comics overworks and underpays you. I'll agree with that, but to the point where it's a death sentence, that I don't agree with. I mean, Matteo, I remember you working on 2 monthly books.
Yeah.
And so how many hours a week were you putting in, do you think?
Oh, I was, the average was like 12 hours, sometimes 14.
12 hours a day.
Plus all the traveling, because I was doing all the shows. Like, I was doing sometimes like
it was a lifestyle, and that's what
10 US shows every year. So I was working in my hotel as I was doing a show and doing missions and everything. So, and I agree with you. It's not something that, I don't see it as something that you might die for. I think that, it's a combination. Probably the situation wasn't ideal work-wise, but, it's in order to, to die for it. And we're probably supposing that, they took their own life. I don't know, like, or they just died by being tired. I don't know nobody knows. But I wouldn't, I wouldn't give.
But would you say that because you did that, that you put in that time called paying your dues, that now where you are is because you put in that work? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I always, I mean, I'm lucky. I had my parents that gave me the, example, because they were two hard workers. Now they're retired, but it's always been a really, a really strong thing in my family to work hard. It was really important. So, but Eric, what do you think? You want to add something to this discussion?
Yeah. No, actually, I wrote down. First of all, yeah, absolutely, I don't give a shit. But second of all, I wrote down a couple points.
Okay.
Which is like, if you take a look at how we're getting this kind of information, agree with me or not, I actually want to hear back from you guys, which is like, Twitter has turned into some weird coping mechanism. It's been co-opted as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes we take this tool that is not really indicative of holistic reality, it helps to amplify the worst sort of attitudes. I remember this was months ago, Matteo, we were talking about this, and you said, like, don't make your shit my shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Oh yeah,
that made me laugh to hear it out loud, because
that's my new mantra. Like every time there's something wrong, a situation that might escalate into something, I'm thinking, okay, so this is your problem, and you're trying to make it become my problem.
Right.
I'm not gonna allow you to do that. Of course, with a friend, it's gonna be different because let's talk and let's discuss. But if I don't know you and you feel entitled to start, attacking and going hard on something, like, man, you have a problem and you want to make it my problem as well.
Yeah.
And if that's not gonna happen.
But don't you also think that we have a tendency to put so much stock in this, like, this conversation with this hashtag, with the individuals who want to? First of all, I think you're right. It's like there's a level of community that somehow, like, they want to be part of this relatable thing. Hey, this was tough for me. Also, isn't this tough for you?
Yeah.
And Twitter gives them that avenue, that release valve.
Yeah. Also connected with the thing that we were talking about, the technology that, modifies and changes shapes, depending on where you are. It gives you a really, really amplified idea of yourself.
Right.
We gotta always remember that there's 7 billion people in the world. And if you count all the people that died, billions and billions of people with just one small thing, we're gonna all fucking die. You guys sooner than me, but so there's always this idea that everybody's idea matters, and it doesn't. Just a few people's idea matter, and I'm including myself.
Absolutely.
And the group,
Most
don't matter at all, So I'm not saying that my opinion mattered.
Right.
So with the new times, like, there's this conception, this idea that everybody's ideas matters,
Right.
and everybody's ideas count the same on the table. And it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Like,
but let me add,
Eric,
let me add to that really quick, though.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Shawn. Shawn, go.
I was just going to say, to your point, I saw what you just mentioned happening in real time, where people who had been in the industry a very short period of time and found very easy, quick success were then joining in the comics broke me hashtag just because that's what the crowd was doing. And it was just, like, bizarre to watch this thing unfold.
Okay, so let me add to what Matteo was just saying right now, which is, like, everybody believes there's a level of self-importance, but I also think that feeds into what you guys were talking about earlier, which is, like, because of that feeling of like self-importance. I don't think that's the right term, but you guys get what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It also goes back to that whole thing where, like, everything must be changed to your liking.
Right.
Well, that's the principle behind it. It's sorry to interrupt, but
no, go ahead, dude. Go.
Connected with what we were talking about. It's the fact that, okay, now I think this, so everything around me should, comply to this new thing that I'm thinking, and I'm gonna surround myself only by people that think the same things, and everybody else, I don't want them even to exist. That's the cancel culture. Like,
can we talk about the two things that just came up when you just said that right now? Number one, that level of self-importance and putting yourself in an echo chamber that believes that, right? That's one. And the other one, the system that's in place, and I don't know what this system is, I want to be able to talk about it, that helps promote that. So you can be in an echo chamber all you want, but if there's grown-ups in the room that go, like, what are you talking about? What I mean? Like, grown-ups is a very broad term, but, like, if somebody pushes back on you and like, actually, that's kind of kooky, like, that's probably nothing, somebody gives you guys perspective, right? Basically the grown-up, right? But there's also a system in the room that goes, like, keep talking about this. You talked about this very briefly a second ago, Matteo, which is, like, an algorithm continues to push something that confirms your bias, it says, hey, keep talking about this because you're absolutely right. You guys, what's your guys' take on that?
Well, I think it's it's like most of the things, it's also drawn by money, because this kind of things, you gotta. I'm thinking about myself like as I was, a businessman, and in this specific like social media business, I'm pushing on, on that kind of stuff, on where everybody's going,
Right.
and in general, I see that the trend is that because, the biggest people in social media are not, no, let me rephrase that. But with social media, young people, I don't know about in the States, but in Italy, we're an old people country, and old people have all the power and blah, blah, blah. And, social media has brought a lot of power into younger people's hands.
Yeah,
So now younger people are the new target, because are the ones they're constantly on the fucking cell phone.
Right.
They're constantly swapping left, right, and whatever the fuck they do. And, so they're the new target, economically.
Right.
They have influence now.
Can I talk about that just very briefly? I'm reading a book now in which there is this weird...
it's called Mein Kampf.
Get out of here. There's this weird sort of trend. I think it's what you're talking about, Matteo, which like they're trying to understand the geography of people in which you said it earlier, like it's money, right? Yeah. Where does the money potentially, not even realistically,
I think so. I'm done. Okay.
No, let me talk about that. Right?
About it. That's
yeah, no. I think there's a part of me that wholeheartedly agrees, right? Which is like, you have these companies that are, if you take a look at the ethics and how they run their company on the day-to-day, I'll use Coca-Cola, right? They'll go on a thing called, like, it's June now, so this is a Pride Month here in the United States. Well, there's stand up this very like amazing, hey, we are united in the front of standing up for the rights of people of the LGBTQ community, right? Mm-hmm. We love you guys. We are in absolute unison for you, right? With you. But if you ask them like, cool, but you're also putting out a product that kills people left and right because of the nature of the sugar that you put into your product.
Exactly.
But you don't talk about that. You don't like, it's almost this weird game of distraction. No. Right? Because if you were to really hyper focus on the things that you are doing to actually impact to the negative, instead of just putting a pride flag in front of your Twitter handle, you fall apart very quickly. But it's I believe in such a way that this is just a massive distraction game. By the way, we're really far afield from what we were talking about in regards to this hashtag, but I do believe that it's related, to like, go distract yourself with all of these things that ultimately don't matter, in at least in the grander scheme of things, of your own personal, physical, and mental health. But yeah, let's go talk about how comics broke you. It really is sobering to think about how easily the general populace can be distracted by that thing that you were talking about earlier, which is like, oh, there is something driving this thing that makes you distracted to like, here's the thing that you believe is really important, but really in the bigger scheme of things, it's not really all that important.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I was thinking as I was looking at this Twitter stuff, it's like I just went over to Instagram and there was nothing about it. It was like, if you didn't have Twitter, you would have no idea this even is like this is a thing. It was a Twitter thing. It's not real. Like, you just got to remember, Twitter is not real.
Also, I think there's how do you call it? The bus. It doesn't exist. I'm making up the word as we speak. Like the bus, the crazy person on the bus effect, meaning that, it's just one crazy person out of 30 people in the bus, but it's the one who screams louder. So you have that, there's a huge thing going on. And then at the end of the day, it's maybe
like 5 people.
Out of millions.
That's true too.
Yeah.
But Eric, I want to ask you, do you think what you were just talking about, is that by design on the higher end of the companies that are in power, or is this a reflection of who we are as a people? Like, what I mean is, are the companies like, let's just distract them and cash in on it? Or is it that the people are looking for distractions and the companies are like, oh, let's
I don't think it's mutually exclusive. I think it's both things, it's both things in conjunction. Generally, people want to have an alignment towards something, we are in this room because we have similar views on things, not 100% everything, but certainly similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I don't particularly, and then there's also, ultimately, there's companies who are trying to find ways to continue to make money, so if they can find a way to leverage that alignment, they're absolutely on board. Here's what I don't quite understand. And this potentially, like, we're talking like a bunch of old men in this room back in my day, which always makes me laugh, right? Like,
you have to say like this, oh, back in my days.
With shaking my cane, and pushing my glasses to my face. I don't know for you guys, so you tell me your experience with this, but we can have similar opinions, but then there'll be times when we disagree, and we've had plenty of times, like you guys wearing those stupid shirts, you know what I mean? Like, plenty of things that we don't agree. Matteo being handsome, Shawn, like all of these things that we disagree with, but we can still be in the same room and just be like, whatever, right? There is a current thing now, and it happened just recently with this hashtag, where somebody can disagree, or even not even disagree, not even talk about the same thing, but people will bring them in. And be like, why aren't you talking about the same things that we are? Right. And why aren't you agreeing with it? And why are you so wrong? That's the part that really flips me out, to be like, that guy's not even talking in the same room as you, but you want to drag them into your room and make them feel bad about not agreeing with the thing that you're talking about. It's so weird.
It's the crabs in the barrel, just looking to pull everyone down to the bottom.
Yeah. I can be in the same room with you guys and disagree about that thing, but at the end of the day, we can go break bread together. I don't understand everything must be aligned to this one thing.
Right, we have to disagree on things. We're individuals, and that actually makes for some good conversations we have, and we're open to hearing each other and learning from that conversation. I think that's a big part of it.
That braces you for that thing that you guys were talking about 15 minutes ago, which is like, you have to brace yourself for a world that doesn't automatically agree with you.
Yeah,
right? And that should be okay.
I think it all comes back.
Not only okay, it's necessary, because the world. Go ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. It's finished.
I was just saying that it's. I mean, Buddhism itself, the first tenet of Buddhism is life is suffering, and that's old as fuck. So we have to accept that life is hard and the world is unfair. It just is, and you have to accept that and learn to, like Matteo always says, see the positive, be the positive.
What are you saying, Manny? Go ahead. Yeah, Matteo never said that, by the way. But that's okay.
Matteo, you said something earlier about being positive.
No, I was just fucking with you. But
see,
I was fucking gently.
We just disagreed. I'm leaving this podcast.
Yeah.
No. Again, there's the technology are showing something about us humans and this need for distraction again. I remember seeing a video clip of Louis C.K. talking at a talk show, like a late night show or something, and he talks about the fact that he was noticing that whenever it would feel like sadness about life in general, sometimes you're just sad and you don't know why you're sad. Mm-hmm. So when he was about to feel something strong, he would immediately get on a cell phone. It's just write to somebody, look at social media and stuff like that as a distraction. Right. And then he talks about, one time I was in a car and I decided not to do it, and instead I parked my car and I started fucking crying like a baby for like 5 minutes. I mean, it was sad, and all of a sudden it became beautiful, and I went home and I was happy, because I let it go, the sadness, and I don't even know what happened, So, but people, in general, and this adults do that too. So it's not just a kid thing, but in order to avoid this strong feelings and stuff like that, we use the cell phone and social media is a big distraction, you know. And on the other hand, there's company that saw this and saw how much a lot of people need this thing. Right. And I mean, they're, you know, they make money. There's their thing. It's like asking a lion not to kill, you know, other animals and eat them and start eating salad. You know, you can't. You can't do that. You know, so their companies are gonna be companies. You know, that's all they do.
I mean, they're
they have focus groups that start, you know, looking around and what's the thing that we should push on in order to make more money. No company is going to say, oh, we're good with the money that we make, or well, next year the plan is to make less money. Okay, guys, because we're getting, you know, out of control here with all this money, you know. So companies are going to be companies and human beings are going to be human beings, and companies are always looking for that, you know, that chink in the armor in order to get more money, you know.
True that.
Yeah.
True that.
Amen.
Did we get to the root? Did we get to the root of what you guys were talking about? As far as this, I mean, we went around in a very large circle as far as this hashtag is concerned, but I think
we started from there and then we moved.
Yeah, I just think the hashtag is just it was a launching pad, because next week it's going to be something else. Like this will be forgotten. That's the other thing, is these movements as they call it, they just disappear when it's like a brighter object appears in the distance.
Yeah, but now I'm wondering, because I don't know shit about this thing, you know, I'm wondering who started the whole thing. Like, did they know about, you know, did they just know the person and then they went for something?
Yeah, I think
or
so.
Or they actually knew that that's what killed them. I don't know.
I don't know. I think the person that started it knew him. But again, it's like, I don't know. You know, I mean, there's so much to unpack there. So much to unpack. Just, you know, did overworking kill him? I don't like to claim that comics is like this abusive, life-threatening workforce is crazy. Like, go work in a coal mine and you'll learn what life-threatening is.
To your point, it was it reminds me of when what's his name, Kentaro Miura, the guy from Berserk, died. Immediately there were, you know, articles about how much he was working, and they started implying that he was working too much and that's why he died. I was like, who are you? Like, did you know the guy? Did you ever talk to him, or just supposing that?
Here's a couple of things. Can I talk about this just really quick? Number one, I don't think that they're wrong. I think, and I think everybody who has worked in comics believes this. Okay, but you know, comics should be paying better. It could be a better paying environment.
Absolutely.
It could be.
Sorry, let me interrupt. Just to
go.
For the fact of disagreeing on stuff, like comic books are not making the same amount of money that you used to.
Right.
So automatically, you know, the pay is gotta be good.
No, I don't. Actually, I agree with that 100%. I agree. It could be better, right? But there's reasons why it's not as good, right?
Right.
It could be handled more professionally, obviously, from the administrative end. We all agree on that, right? But there's also, and this is what you were talking about just now, it potentially speaks to what you were talking about just now, is like all these guys who are complaining about being comics, like, you know that it's bad for you, you can leave. Yeah. You can go and do something else, right?
No one's forcing you to do this.
To look at the guy who's working on Berserk, right?
Yeah.
And say like, oh, he died because, you know, he's overworked. Do you genuinely believe that if that guy didn't want to do that, he'd still be there stabbing himself in the face? You know, like, unless you've got a really critical mental condition, he loved doing that thing. Right. You know, to go look at, like, you know, we're all pointing at Matteo going like, dude, you used to work 12 hours and blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not stupid. You know, like, you love doing that thing. You wanted to make that thing happen. And for somebody to say like, oh, this thing killed me, I wish it could be better. Yeah, no, we all wish that it could be better, right? If you decide to stay, that's on you, right? That's a choice that you make.
It's an actual choice that you make, yeah.
And to be fair, we can look around the comics pros we know. This is not a healthy crew of people, and they're working pretty damn hard. So if they're surviving, we can rule out that the workload is the problem.
Yeah, my attitude is always like, you work in the industry that is the load limit that you can handle, right?
Yeah.
I think it's easy for people. It's easier for people to complain externally and say, "Hey, I'm working my butt off. Why am I not getting treated better?" Rather than saying, like, "I'm working my butt off and I'm not getting treated better. Maybe I should go work someplace else."
Or do what we've decided to do is take this seriously as our own business and build our own thing.
But that's the same thing, right? Where it's just like, you're identifying that this thing is not yielding the results that I want. I should go work at something else. Although in some cases, I'm like, I understand why you stay at comics, because you are not relevant anywhere else, right? You are working to the highest, weight that you in the weight class that you are capable of doing. Because if you were to take yourself out of that weight class and start, competing in the other places, you would not be relevant. So it's easier to stay in that space and complain rather than to take it on as a personal challenge, to go like, hey, here's an actual opportunity for growth, and go do it someplace else.
And there's also this victim culture thing going on too, where everyone has to be a victim and let you know they're a victim, and that defines them. And that's a whole another story.
Yeah,
but we're getting near the end of the podcast here. And
no, we're not. I hit the button early.
Oh, that's
so
right. But there is something I do want to talk about when we're done with this conversation.
Oh, after this conversation.
Well,
but let's not use the first 10 minutes because we're already talking about this thing. So let's use the intro, and then we start. So we still at 10.
Okay.
You guys are such professionals, man. It's
yeah. So are we done with the comics broke me, or is there more to say?
I don't know. Is there anything more to say about
I think we
Twitter being fucked up, and it's not the world, it's just Twitter?
And again, just to be fair, we don't know what happened.
Right. That's exactly right.
At the end of the day, we use this thing.
And I don't think 90% of the people using the hashtag know either.
Yeah, probably.
But also keep this in mind, and you guys were talking about it. It's incredibly cynical. And this comment is also cynical, which is to say, some people might have been talking at the loss of this guy's lives in the beginning, right?
Right.
But somehow, Twitter being Twitter, they make it about themselves.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Really
it's so weird to talk about this guy who passed away, and people start infusing it with all of this horribleness, and inevitably they start talking about well, this is what happened to me, and you're like, knock it off. This guy passed away. It's awful.
Yeah.
Just make it about that guy and thank you very much, But then instead, if they start talking about themselves and how comics broke them, shut up. It's not about you,
Yep. Facts.
Listen,
guys, changing subject real quick. Shawn, do you want to add something?
We'll end on my topic. You go.
Okay. So as you know, we need a Matteo's bragging time for every episode.
Here we go.
So it's brag time.
Okay.
Did you guys watch new Spider-Man?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I know it's coming. No, I'm going tomorrow.
Eric,
did you? Me and the kids.
Oh, you're going tomorrow?
Yeah.
Eric, did you?
No, not yet, man.
It's a brag, but then I become a loser by the end of the story. So you're gonna enjoy it. All right. So no, I was happy to see in an article that my name is on the credits.
Oh, is it? That fucking
yeah, is it?
Awesome.
It is. There's
That's
a comic book artist section.
Yeah. Okay.
Right over there. So it's nice.
What did you contribute to that movie?
I encouraged them. No, no. I worked.
You wrote them a letter,
but it was years ago, before COVID. They were already.
I remember you were working on it.
And so they asked me to do some character design. I did it for a month. I don't remember how long.
I remember that.
And so I studied some characters, and now the story becomes sad because they didn't use any of them. So I think that COVID hit, and then they changed plans for the story. So I worked on 3 characters.
Animation broke me.
Animation broke me. And
I thought you were going to say hashtag, and now it becomes sad,
And So, but you never know. From what I hear, there's a chapter 2. I haven't watched the movie. I actually got invited at the premiere, but it was in LA or something. So
They weren't going to pay for your trip.
I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't check. Like I saw that it was an invitation for the premiere. I didn't read the whole thing, but
Mateo's like, I don't read more than 10, 15 words at a time.
Yeah. 20 words is the top. Otherwise, my brain starts.
No, it's like, Mateo's like, this is costing me money. I read past 20 words. This is starting to get expensive for me. Hey, listen, let's not lose track of the fact. Congratulations, bud. That's really, really awesome.
And we'll
really
see
great.
Chapter 2, but also I'm back to bragging for a second, but I wanted to thank, since everybody at Sony Pictures watches us.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I was.
Dude, I'm so jealous of this one.
I just wanted to say that I was really happy to receive a few days ago this on my email. So I received this bag. It's really nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
There was a thank you letter for the production team from the production.
That's so cool.
That nice, sketchbook. It's
oh, dude, it's the graffiti style. That's awesome.
That's nice. That's nice.
And a punk
in the backpack. That's so cool.
Backpack.
That's great. That's cool.
With pins and stuff. And then
this is the one.
A nice bomber.
Dude, put that on. I want to see that. That thing looks fucking sick, dude.
That looks great, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
oh my god.
No, but listen, that's back to bragging, but it's well deserved. Congratulations, pal. That's an amazing opportunity.
It's well deserved that they didn't use Ennio McCarran. Really well deserved.
It's well deserved in the sense that like it didn't happen, without the body of work that you put into it, right? So even if they don't end up using it, who cares? The fact that they reached out and said, "Hey, he might be a good contributor." Like, by the way, that's not unique to you. That happens to a lot of different people.
No, I absolutely know. Like, I know the differences. Like, I saw the difference because we reuse with comic books. We used to obtain as much as we can by doing the least as we can because we got to produce.
Yep.
And in animation, it's the other way around. You got to make this thing to produce this. You got to do a ton of work just to create this small thing. It's the opposite
production. Yeah,
it's the other way around it. It's weird to train your brain to think that. I'm still not there. Like I'm a comic book artist in my brain, so I have.
If you bring that jacket to New York, it's gonna get stolen. I'm just warning you.
By Shawn.
Francesca, my girlfriend, already said that I look awful on it. So
what?
Yeah. Well, she likes to insult me. It's her.
Well, you should definitely bring it to New York.
Insulting.
I'll steal it from you.
Insulting Matteo is her love language. You know what I mean? And Matteo falls in love even more. All right, Shawn, what did you want to talk about? You wanted to end on something.
Very important topic.
Yeah.
You guys know what tomorrow is?
Your birthday,
buddy.
Happy birthday, buddy. Fratello.
Happy birthday. What is it? Is it 51?
It is 51.
51.
Holy cow.
Yeah, we used to be at HeroesCon celebrating, but none of us are there.
Yeah, listen, let me say this.
I was thinking about that show recently. I want to go next year.
I mean, if
we should go next year.
I'll go.
Or next year or 2 years,
Yeah, no. I'll go if you guys show up.
Dude,
you guys show up because I'm not fucking going. Shawn?
So what's the plan for tomorrow? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna take the kids to see Spider-Man, the animated movie, the Spider-Verse thingy, at like 3. I've got therapy at 1. I tried to avoid that, but that's when they could do it. And then we're gonna go. Zoe works at a brew pub. Do you know what that is, Matteo? Brew pub. It's like a brewery where they make beer, but it's also a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So she got it like a section reserved for us, so we're gonna go there and have dinner.
The whole family.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Shawn, you don't look a day over 53, buddy. It looks great. It looks good on you. You know. So congratulations on that. Jokes aside, you're amazing. You can do handstands that makes you look like Matteo's overall body shape. That's great.
I'm not going to be able to do handstands anymore because every time I get up,
handstand. That's what it's called.
Laugh and fall.
Yeah, you literally said it earlier. What's that thing where you call when you stand on your hands? And we're both like a handstand. Fucking.
Oh, okay, you said it. I was talking, so I didn't hear you. Okay, handstand. I knew that the word wasn't coming. So.
Congratulations, man. 51. You look great. Here's to like 50 more years. Do you think you're going to survive to like 100? Do you think you have plans for 100?
Man, that's a good question because I you guys know this about the men in my family on my dad's side.
Yeah, this is gonna get sad really fucking quick. Matteo,
they usually die right
get off the bus.
50.
Yeah. Maddie, get off the bus. Get off the bus. The sad bus that just
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I hope I do live a nice long life.
There it is. That's the way you should have answered that. You almost went down that path of like, you know what happens to the men in my family, right? What's going on? Like you could just see everything desaturate. The edges get black.
This is the black and white part of the show. Every show has to have a black and white moment. One day we're gonna make it happen.
We could have ended it. We're gonna end this on a decent note because you just have to train Shawn into going down the happy fucking path, which he's getting better at. Shawn, happy birthday. Matteo,
happy birthday, brother.
Thank you.
Here's hoping that you look as good as Shawn, but later on in life when you turn 50. But in the meantime, congratulations on the Spider-Verse stuff. Hopefully they use it someday. Probably also not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I'm going to hit this outro bump now, guys. Thank you for hanging out. 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
This is the Inkpulp podcast. This is the Inkpulp podcast. Comics, hip hop, life.